Hey guys, today we want to talk about what does a millionaire look like, and I want to go through some statistics that might be a little bit eye-opening for some of you guys. But if this is your first time joining us, welcome. My name is Michael Foley. I'm a certified financial planner and a certified student loan professional. I'm a son of two doctors, and really developing lifestyle creep to really help the healthcare workers in our society combat lifestyle creep and really help them to be inspired to live more humble and quiet lives. But let's dive in today. So, what does a millionaire look like? And I think we all have this idea in our mind, mostly probably from social media and other outside influences that really kind of give us an image of what does a millionaire look like. And so, at least in my mind, it's, driving the nice fancy car, some foreign car, not living on a budget, not really having to quote unquote worry about money. And some of these other ones, I mean, it's like, owning a house is a big one. A lot of our clients, and myself included, want to kind of check that box that millionaires own homes, and so we want to make sure that we're taking that stride to the next step. Maybe it's owning a bunch of rental properties. That's all the rage these days, is trying to figure out, okay, hey, how can I start buying some rental properties? Because that's what millionaires are doing these days. And so the other thing is designer goods. It's finally being able to, when you have that higher income, okay, now we can start going to Nordstrom and buying full price. Like we don't need to look for sales anymore. Don't need to live on that budget. So, but really interesting statistics. So I was reading the Millionaire Next Door, and then they just came out with another episode or another book called The Next Millionaire Next Door that came up with some updated numbers. So first of all, highly recommend that book from Thomas Stanley. Very helpful from a behavioral side of understanding what do millionaires do and what do the statistics say about them. So they underwent one of the largest studies on millionaires in the United States that's ever been done. And so it's really interesting to kind of see what does a millionaire look like, and what we have in our minds, does that actually align? So listen to some of these statistics. So the first one, 61% of millionaires operate on some sort of well thought out budget. So a lot of people think that millionaires don't need a budget because they're making so much money that they don't need a budget. Not necessarily what statistics say on that. This was interesting to me. So top three most popular car brands. So, I mean, in my mind, it's Land Rover, Mercedes, and, Porsche, right? Those are kind of in my mind. But top three for millionaires, Toyota, Honda, and Ford, right? So that some of you wouldn't think that those are aligned with millionaires in the United States, but those are the most common car brands owned by millionaires. A third of the millionaires own cars that are actually 5 years or older. So we see a lot of people think that, oh, hey, we got to buy a new car every few years. Not the millionaires. That's not what they're doing. A couple of the last two that were really interesting for me is so first of all, the majority of mortgages, of about over 51%, have a mortgage payment between 5 and 20% of their annual income. So CFP board, so our certified financial planner board, says that it should be under 28% of our annual income. So if they're between 5 and 20%, they're really spending below their means, which is awesome to see. But in this market with interest rates and everything, it's getting a lot harder for clients to even look at. Can we even stay under that 28%? But maybe it's not time to buy a house yet, and so. The other thing is that, when we're talking about homeownership, a lot of people just think of, part of adulting or part of that next step is that we got to be a homeowner, right? That's what our parents have preached to us. We got to have a place to live, and we want to be that owner of the home. But interesting statistic that they have in here is 92% of homeowners are not actually millionaires. 92%. So think about that. 92% of homeowners in the United States are not even millionaires, right? I would probably imagine that if they ran the statistics of the percentage of millionaires who owned homes, I would assume that's probably pretty high. But it's just interesting that it's not a prerequisite, right? So there's 92% of the people that own homes are actually not millionaires. So there's just some good food for thought there. But the other thing that we typically assign, think in our minds of around being a millionaire is owning rental properties. Everyone talks about it. It's bombarded on social media. Your uncle or your friend has a rental property and they tell you all about how great it is, right? And so that's in our minds what we see as being successful, right? But statistics show that only 3.4% of millionaires in the United States earn half or more of their income from rental properties. So think about that. Only 3.4% actually earn a substantial amount from their rental properties is north of 50% of their income. Uh, that's not a large number, right? So again, not a prerequisite that we have to be looking at. Do I think that real estate is a great investment? I think it could be an awesome addition, but it's interesting to see what millionaires are doing, and we don't have to be doing all the fancy stuff to really become a millionaire in our society. So just some interesting statistics that hopefully open your eyes to seeing, maybe what we in our mind identify as successful or maybe being that millionaire may not actually align with what it actually takes to become a millionaire.